And here we are. Good morning, everyone. Let me know if you are here. Let me check everything that works. Let's see if I can leave also the chat somewhere. Okay. And I will check it sometimes. And first of all, let me know if everything works, if you can hear me, if you are there. Ciao, Tanya. Good morning. And just to start, today we have to study two main things that are. We have to study a few more tools in order to modify the drawings that we create. But most important thing that I want to show you today will be something that is called blocks. So this will be my main topic. If especially in combination with these, I have to explain something that is at least modify tools that are called, I need to show you, scale, for sure. Then, because I think we haven't seen last week, I want to show you another modify tool that is called mirror. So these are our main subjects that we have to study. These two are modify tools, while this one is something that is completely new, something that is a way to include complex detailed objects in AutoCAD. But I mean, we need to know a lot of tiny little things about blocks. So, good morning, Sandra. Good morning. And let me see if I can see how many students I have. So, hello. Let me just check 1 second here. This is my class. It says 10. Perfect. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So, in case you are here, this is our today menu. There is, we will see these tools called scale, mirror, but most important, we have to see blocks. So, let's start by understanding what it means. What it means scaling. So I start a new drawing, and scaling means this. Look, if I draw something, let's say I start by first of all, let me close properties here. But if I start a line and I make my line, let's say, 20 or 50 millimeters long, and I have to zoom in. Then I make this second part 20 millimeters long, and then I make this part 30 millimeters long. Till here, nothing new. I have just, and I will simply sketch over the screen, but I have just made that. This is something that is 50 millimeters long. This is 20 millimeters long, and this one is 30. So let me tell you, till here, nothing complex, but I've just made a simple drawing. So what it means scaling an object. Scaling means that if I need, I can select the entire drawing that I have made, and without changing proportions in between my elements, I can make my drawing becoming bigger or smaller. This is the operation that is called scaling. How it works in AutoCAD is pretty simple, and it works like this. First of all, scale is a modifier that you can find by going into the modify area of your tool, and scale, first of all, is this one, of course, if you have Windows. But in general, scale is a tool that has this symbol here. And it has the same symbol both if you use a Mac or you use a Windows. And this is first. Second, check the chat. Perfect. It would be nice if this can remain on the top, but I can't. It's okay. I will do this instead. Perfect. Okay. So if I see messages. So how it works, scale. Scale works in this way. You have to first select objects, and I can see a message, someone say ciao. So scale works like this. You have to select all those objects that you want to transform in making them bigger or smaller. You select them, then you click scale, and as the transformation says, you need simply to specify a base point. In general, when you use scale, it is simply, first of all, you can place your base point wherever. It is just a common way to use scale, simply to click a point that is more or less into the center of your selection. Again, this is not mandatory, it is just a common way to use scale. So you click the base point, and you can already see that if you move your mouse very gently, you will make your object bigger or smaller, but in reality, what you have to do after clicking the center of your scaling transformation is you need to read what AutoCAD is asking you, and if you read down here, it is written that AutoCAD wants you to know what is called scale factor. Scale factor is simply a number that says how big or how small your object must become. And how this number works is very simple. That is, if you type a number that is bigger than 1, you will make your object becoming bigger. So if I type as a scale factor, I type number 2, basically my selection will become twice as big. So if you remember, my original object is this shape that is 50, 20, 30 millimeters. If I click scale, and then as a scale factor I type number 2, and then sorry, number 2, and then number 2, and then I press enter, what happens to my selection is that now this is a line that is exactly 100 millimeters long. This is a line that is 40 millimeters long. This will be a line that is 60 millimeters long, because each part of my drawing has been scaled multiplying every single dimension by the scaling factor that is number 2. So, first of all, this is what scale does, but we can make another example. So check this. I can draw a circle, and let's say I set the radius of this circle, I don't know, 50 millimeters. And I press escape. Once that I have made my circle, if I select it and I move my mouse to one of these points, in case I forgot, I can check that the radius that is written there is for real. It is 50 millimeters. And you can check it by reading the number that appears here. So look, if I just move my mouse in here, I can read my actual radius. I'm doing this simply because, in general, scale is a tool that is pretty simple and straightforward to be used when we want to make our objects bigger. That is pretty simple to understand that if I need to make an object 2 times bigger, I select scale and I type 2. If I need to make an object 4 times bigger, I select, I scale, and then I type 4. And so on and so on. If I make 10, it would be 10 times bigger. So, sometimes scale becomes a little bit tricky. when you need to make an object smaller than its original dimension. And in that case, what you have to do is you have to use numbers that are smaller than 1. So how? The thing is very simple, and it works like this. My circle right now is a circle that has the radius of 50 millimeters. I want to scale it, I want to make it smaller this time, and I want to make it small so that its radius becomes 25 millimeters. Okay? So what I have to do is very simple, is I need to scale my circle so that it becomes 2 times smaller, not 2 times bigger, 2 times smaller. So the number is 2, but see this magic and easy way to understand which number you have to type in AutoCAD. I want to make my object 2 times smaller, so the number that I have to type is the result of this simple operation, that is 1 divided 2. So if you do this with your calculator, I mean this is not that hard actually, but you will discover that the result will be 0.5. And believe it or not, this is exactly the scale factor that you have to type when AutoCAD will ask you if you want to make your drawing smaller than its original dimension. So let's see if it works. Let me see. So I select the circle. Then I click Scale. I will select as a base point, a point that is close to the center. And for the circle it is even easier because I can snap the center. Then I left click to set my base point. But this time, because I want to make my circle smaller, I want to make it 2 times smaller, I will type 0.5, press enter. And if I'm right, first of all, you can see that the circle has become smaller. This is true. But also, if you check, the radius should be 25 millimeters. So let's check it. I select the circle. I move my mouse over one of these 4 dots that are appearing, and I really, let me zoom in, and I really can read that the value of my radius has become 25. So I have correctly scaled my circle and it has become 2 times smaller. So when you make other values, let's say you want to make it 3 times smaller, 4 times smaller, 5, and so on and so on and so on, you need always to repeat this process. That is, I want to make it 4 times smaller, very simple. I make 1 divided 4, that is 0.25. Perfect. This is the scaling factor to make an object 4 times smaller. I want to make it, I don't know, 5 times smaller, so I think first 1 divided 5, that is 0.2. Lovely. 0.2 would be scaling factor to type in AutoCAD, and so on and so on. I want to make 10 times smaller. 1 divided by 10 is 0.1. So this is scaling factor in order to make an object 10 times smaller. Okay? This is extremely important then when I will show you blocks, but remember this particular tool that is scale, because it becomes extremely useful when we have to deal with blocks. But I mean, just remember. Let me see the chat. Let me see if no questions. So everything looks like it is fine. Let's see another tool that I need to show you. There is a tool that is called mirror. So how mirror works. Mirror is a tool that allows you to create specular copies of your objects. So the way that it works is you have to select your objects, then you have to select you have to draw actually the axes that you want to use as symmetry axes, and bim, bada boom, you have mirror. So let's see how it works. First of all, mirror is here, and mirror allows you to draw half of your object, and then you can just have a copy of your object, but symmetrical copy in a second. And just be so nice into the chat, because I have a doubt right now. Just let me know if I have already explained mirror. Let me know. Let me see. Answer into the chat so that I see also that you are alive and you are watching my video. So, have I already explained mirror or not? Let me remember. First who answer will have A+ at the end of the semester. So let's see if this is useful. Nope. Perfect. I have this doubt, so probably I have explained mirror into another class, and I was a little bit confused, but it's okay. No. Awesome. Thanks. So I'm right. I have to explain mirror. So what mirror does is this. Look. Let's say you must draw something that is symmetrical. And believe it or not, when I will show you an example, you won't believe your eyes. But let's say I want to draw something like this. First I make a sketch. And this is what I want to draw. I can see that the shape that I'm about to draw has at least one symmetry axis, because if I just draw half of these, opposite half is nothing else than this mirrored by using that magenta line as a symmetry axis. So in AutoCAD I have a simple tool that is called mirror, but a tool that I have to use in this kind of particular situation. So let's draw that M-shaped thing, and look, I will also draw this shape without any particular dimension, and I will draw, let's say, this, 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 that. I'm not even that precise. I don't know if these parts are aligned together, but it doesn't really matter. Look what I have to do now. I have to use mirror, and mirror is a tool, again, that you find into the modify area of your toolbar, and mirror has this shape. First of all, if you have Windows, it is here, and in general, mirror has this shape. This. This is mirror. And the way that it works is very simple. That is this. Look. You, again, like basically most of my modify tools, you select first objects that you need to transform, so that you need to have like a specular copy. So you select your objects, you click mirror, and if you move your mouse in your drawing, you will read that AutoCAD will ask you to specify first point of your mirror line. Simply because symmetry axis is an infinite line that it doesn't matter from where it starts, but what it really matters is the position and the angle of your line. So you can click wherever, but if I want a vertical axis, I need to be sure that my second point then will be perfectly vertical according to where my first point was. So let's say I click here so that I snap this point, and this would be first point of my symmetry axis. Then I move my mouse, and what is interesting is that it doesn't matter where I place my second point, but just because the second point is aligned in a vertical direction, this will make my symmetry axis vertical as well. So I will click my second point here, and then in order to finish mirror asks you if you want to erase source object. You just keep the default option, that is no, so you press space or enter, and you have made your symmetrical element in 1 second. As you may see, my drawing wasn't as precise as I thought, but nothing complex. I can select and trim these parts. Okay? So this is what mirror does. That is, it allows you to draw basically half of your shape, and you can just, boom, create your symmetrical one. And I want to show you at least 2 examples about objects that we may find in reality in our drawings, except instead of just drawing an M. But see this, because this would be unbelievable. Do you remember last week we have seen doors and windows? And if you remember, we have seen that in order to make a door, we have to make a rectangle, and then we make that circle, we trim it, and so on. And till we make one single door, the thing is pretty easy. When instead we have to make a window or a double door, there are technically very similar symbols, we have to make one half and second half of the window or double door. So, by using mirror instead, that process is a lot faster, because if I have this, look, and I don't even need to know the dimension. I'm just making this example, then I will make the example with real dimensions. But if I have this kind of drawing, that is the wall, half of my door, and then I just draw this so that I can trim. Don't worry, I'm just explaining the concept, then I will draw it again, but with more precise dimensions. But just to show you what I want to do. Sorry. I want to trim this and that. Look. Just to show you an example of using mirror with a more realistic shape, but as I said, don't worry, then I will draw another with real dimensions. But just to show you, mirror is exactly the tool that I need to make double doors, to make windows, simply because if I draw half of my object, then I click mirror, and I click center of my window, by making a simple mirror transformation and pressing enter, I obtain the double door or the window that I was about to create. And this is a perfect example of symmetrical objects that we will find a lot of times into an interior drawing. So, just to repeat also what we have explained last week, I will draw now a window, but I will use real dimensions, so I will try also to type realistic dimensions so that we have an example of using mirror, but in a realistic case. So look, I will zoom out because I want to type my values in millimeters. And this is very important because especially when I make the window, if you remember, the window and the door are objects that have fixed dimensions, like at least thickness of the door or windows panel must be 50 millimeters. So look, first of all, I create the wall that will be the wall where the window will be. So I will make a line. I will make it 8,000 millimeters long. Then I have to draw the thickness of the wall. I will make it 300 millimeters. Enter. Then I go back and I make this 8,000 again. Escape. Now I will draw the other side of my wall. So I have to make these lines. There are, because this is a window, there are those lines in between. Let's say my window will be 900 millimeters large. And I make another 900 millimeters line. And I will finish my wall like this. 8,000. 8,000. So this is basically where, and you know what we can do? We can pretend this, just to let you understand. But this is the wall. So this is where hatch will go. Just to make you understand what I want to do. And in here, there is going to be a window. So at the end, I need to obtain something that will be like this. Okay? So let's delete this. And why not? Let's keep the hatch that I like. So what I have to do is, like we did last week, I start by making a circle here, so where the hinge of my window is placed, and I make it 50 millimeters. Then I have to draw the panel of the window, but because this will be half of the length, I make a rectangle from this midpoint till this intersection, that is where the circle intersects the wall. Then I select the rectangle that I have created, and I use rotate to rotate it 90 degrees. Last but not least is I select the circle and I change its radius till it matches the size of the panel. And I select the wall, the window, I click trim, and I will delete this part. Okay? So till here we have done anything new, but this is just last week class that is about to draw the window. But now, instead of repeating the exact same step in order to make right side of the window, what I will do, that it also will take 3 seconds, will be I select rectangle and the circle, I click mirror, Symmetry Axes passes through the center of the window, so I just snap this point, I move my second point no matter where, but just I see my green dashed line appearing that says that my second point will be vertically aligned with my starting one, and when I left click, poof, and I press spacebar, I have created also the opposite side of my window. Okay? Till here? You want to see another example? Because I have one in mind that will leave you speechless, I would say. Ready? See this example. In order to show you a second example, let me delete that thing. I want to open a file that you may already know. That is basically first exercise that you have made for my class. And I want to focus your attention here. Okay? So, let's see if you answer correctly to this question. And remember, there is only one winner to this competition. That is the first one who will answer correctly to my question, again, will have A+ at the end of the semester. So, question is, if you look at this particular shape, and I ask you, for you, how many symmetry axes this object has, the answer is, let me see the chat. So for you, how many symmetry axes this shape has? Only first one will win if he answers correctly. Let me see. Let me see. Giving up is not an option. Also, four, yes. Haha. Sorry. One winner. 4 is correct. And yes, Serena, you are the winner. No, there are not 2. There are 4 symmetry axes, and they are these. Look, there is, let me change the color. There is this symmetry axis, and you can see that the shape is the same left and right. There is this symmetry axis, and you can see that the shape is also the same up and down. But this is a little bit weird, because in reality there are also this and this other 2 symmetry axes in this shape. So why this is so interesting and so important to be known in AutoCAD? Because look, if we focus our attention to one small piece of our shape, we can discover this. Look, if I draw this weird looking shape, so the one there is in green, highlighted into the screen, believe it or not, in 3 seconds I can then make my final homework. So check this beautiful trick. So look here. Oops. I just keep the sketch on the screen, because if not, I will forget. I just forgot to read dimensions. So this is, in total, it is 10. So it means that this small piece and this small piece are 5 millimeters. So look, I have to zoom in, and I will type 5, enter. 5, enter. And I have almost done. Then, look, I will make a line from the midpoint, so it is this one, and I will make it 45 degrees angled. I will make another line 45 degrees angled. I will make another line 45 degrees angled. I could be more precise, but it's okay. Then I will select trim, and I will finish by adding this angled line. Okay? Can you see the similarity between this green shape and this one? Okay? Ready for this? Because this will, this will be shocking. Look, I select all these lines, and first thing that I do will be I will mirror by using this yellow axis. So I select mirror, and instead of using vertical or horizontal symmetry axis, I will mirror it like that by using this 45 degrees angled mirror. And you want a space. Then I will, then I will, what is the channel? Yes. Then I will select all, use mirror, I will click the center, and I will make, it's the same now, or vertical or horizontal mirror. It will be exactly the same. Spacebar. I will finish by selecting everything, mirror, and I will make my vertical mirror. And just at the end, I will make the circle that is from the center till here, that is just for, let me tell you, decoration purpose. So you can see that by using mirror, I was able to create this very complex drawing. Let me check the original one, and let me delete the sketch. No way! It is exactly the same. No, it is not exactly the same, because here I have to extend this line. Ooh, what a mistake. And I just drag this here. Now it is the same. Okay? But we have seen that mirror can be used to create a lot of things, but in general there is only one thing to remember, that is, whenever you have symmetrical objects, you have to draw just one part, and with mirror you will obtain your opposite side. Okay? Is it clear? Also, remember this. I because I know that during the week maybe you can't, like at school, find me making me questions, show me things, and so on and so on. What I have decided is that I will leave. Thanks, Julia. Amazing, I know. I've decided that I will leave my videos in this channel. I mean, I don't say for a week. I mean, I will leave them into my channel. I mean, and this is why. Because in this way, whenever you have a doubt, whenever you want to review things that I have explained, you can always watch these videos over and over, and you can follow the explanation again. Also, don't know if you have ever used, but of course not during the live streaming, but when you watch a YouTube video, if you see into the player, there is also the speed control. So if someone is making a tutorial and it is going, the tutorial is going too fast, you can always slow down the video. And in this way, if you want to see, no, again, my mouse clicking here, clicking there, just once that my video, that the live stream finish, and you watch the live stream again, you can also slow it down. But my videos, I mean, I will leave them into the channel, and if I can, um, I will try also to find where previous lessons are. I mean, of course, I have not all lessons from the beginning of the semester, but those that I have streamed, they should be somewhere in the cloud things and so on and so on. So I will try also to upload previous lessons that I have recorded on YouTube. I mean, so that they will be a useful resource that you can use from home. Okay? And this is about videos. Let's go. So let's jump on the topic that is the one that is a little bit more complex for today. That is, let's see what is a block, how to deal with blocks, and what you can do with blocks in I had a problem. Sorry, in the meantime, I'm reading. That is super nice. Thank you. I mean, you're welcome. We are here to learn and not just to make videos. So I think it is helpful. I had the problem with last week homework. May I mail my question? Of course you can email questions. And also, if you have a specific problem on, let's say, a corner, on a dimension, and so on, you can also take pictures with your phone of the particular uh, uh, problem, and if you send me a picture, or I mean, why not, I'm making videos, you can make videos as well. So if you have your pen, like showing me things like, Marco, this is the corner that I don't understand, how to do this and that, you can even record a short video, send me by mail, and there is no problem. With time, I will try to answer to your questions. In general, I don't check my email every single minute, but I mean, in a few hours, I should be able to answer. Okay? As I'm waiting for the chat response. It looks like it is fine. What what is my email address? But come on, this is something that I gave you day one. Oh. Anyway, I will write it. My email address is 3dcad 2013 at gmail.com, and you should find it in the chat, but also because I have my pen tablet, I will write it here. So just to remember, the email address is 3dcad 2013 at gmail.com. Okay? I mean, so you can't make mistakes. Perfect. So let's move on and let's see what is a block. And actually, this particular drawing becomes extremely handy in this situation, because look now what we have. Now we have an object, but in reality, this object is made by a lot of tiny pieces. And if I want to move it, if I want to rotate it, if I want to scale it, and so on and so on, what happens is that now I have to remember all the times to select all these small pieces together. Okay? And these, especially if I also repeat my object, this will be something that will surely lead me to making mistakes. So maybe I select them all. Sometimes I forgot to select one small piece. Sometimes I select too many pieces, and so on and so on. So what is a block? A block is a way that you have that allows you to combine all these shapes together, and if you make them as a block for AutoCAD, all those objects instead will be viewed, managed as one single object. The way that you have to make a block is simply this. That is, you have to first draw all the tiny pieces, tiny components that you need to keep always stick it together. And then you need to find this button here in your toolbars. This button, then I will draw it bigger, is a button that is called Create Block. And if you have Windows, it is here. Let me change the color, I don't like this green. It is here. If you have a Mac, the symbol is the same. Just don't ask me what it is, but the symbol is basically something that looks like this. It is a rectangle with a circle with a thicker dot in here, and it should have a small spark looking symbol into right top corner. This is the tool that is called Create, and of course it means create a block. Okay? So, how it works? It works in this way. You must, as I said, first select all those objects that you want to keep together. With your objects selected, you click this little tool that is called Create Block. And when you do this, a pop-up message will appear. In here, you can basically imagine it is not written anything except for one very important thing. That is, in AutoCAD, you need to give your blocks a precise name. So you can leave all these options as they are, don't change anything there, but the only thing that you need to do is here you need to type a unique name for your block. That is crucial. So when I make a block, really, the only thing that I do is I select, I click create a block, and I type a name to my block. Let's call these, I don't know, it looks like a tile, so let's call it tile. Just a name. Should logically be a name that you remember, but the only important thing is you type a name and then you click OK. So check what happens here. What happens is that now for AutoCAD, those are not more 49 different objects, and no matter where I click, look, I just move my mouse over one of these edges, but look, now if I just click a corner of these, poof, this is one object only. So if I need to move it, if I select it, I can rotate it. And I will never have the problem of having like small pieces that were not selected, or if I move these into another layer, the entire block will go to another layer, and so on and so on. But for AutoCAD now, this is one object only. Okay? Till here? Is it clear? So that I will explain now a couple of things that you can do with your blocks, but they will be unbelievable. Let me see the chat. Okay. So if this is clear, so I mean I just selected things, created a block, and now they look like one single thing. Check what you can do with blocks, because the block is interesting because inside it still contains all of your elements. So what you need to know is that if you make a block, then you are still able to edit the block. And how it works? It works like this. You must select the block, and you can see that now this is like one object only. But if I want to delete some lines, let's say, look, I can select the block. I will right click over the block and I will use this particular option that appears when I right click on my selected block, that is called Edit Block in Place. Okay? So when I click Edit Block in Place, I am asked if this is the block that I want to edit, the one that is called tile, and I click OK. And now I can edit my block. So I can, let's say, delete these lines that I wanted to remove. Okay? But when I am done, when I want to close my block and I want to go back to my project, I go in this last tab that appears only when I have clicked Edit Block in Place, and I have to choose the option called Save Changes. I click it, I click OK, boom! And I have again my block that has been edited. Okay? But why this feature is so crucial, especially in interior design? Because if I make a block and then I make duplicates of my block, so if I copy paste it like this, no? This is something that we have seen. We have seen copy a few weeks ago. So if I select my block and I copy the block, and I'm just randomly copying my box, and then I press escape. So my block, not my box, my block. Okay? Ready for this? Because this will leave you speechless. See what happens if now I use the option that is called Edit Block in Place, so that I repeat exactly what I did before. So look, I select one, take care, one block, and it doesn't even matter which one, because they are copies of same exact block. So check what happens now. I select this block. Then I right click and I use the option that is called Edit Block in Place. Exactly the block that I want to edit is the one that is called tile. I click OK. So you can see that for now the entire project is hidden because now I am inside the block that is called tile. And for example, I can select a circle and I will trim these parts. Then look, I will add this element inside the square so that I also repeat mirror. Okay? And maybe I add a rectangle. I add a circle so that I have M exclamation mark inside. So I have modified one of my block, and when I am happy with the result, I click this button that appears at the end. I click Save Changes, but see what happens inside my AutoCAD project. Are you ready? Steady, go. Boom. Okay. All my blocks, due to the fact that they are a copy of same exact block, all my blocks are updated and they are acquiring that adjustment that I have made in one of them. Okay? Oops. I know, that is fantastic. It's too cool. So, when this will be extremely important, let's make a more realistic example. That is this. Look. Let's say, and I first make a sketch so that you will understand what I'm about to do next. But let's say that you are making a project, and for the project you need a table. So the table is simple. And you need to draw chairs all around the table. So you will make a shape in here. You will make a shape there. You will make another one here. You will make another one, another one, another one. And for you, this is the table. And these are chairs. So, till here, nothing complex. Where is complex part? Complex part arrives when you go to your teacher, you show chairs that you have placed, and the teacher says, no, maybe you can change them. I want chairs that are a lot more sharp, so I don't like these curvy chairs. So your teacher asks you, can you place this kind of chairs? And if you were not using blocks, making this adjustment will be something that will take forever. While, check this, because you know that you can use blocks, what you will do is this. You make your table and you start for real by making this chair at first. So, exactly. Let's say this is the chair that has been placed at the beginning. But this is not a chair right now. This is half circle, one line, one line. So what I will do before adding other chairs will be, I will select these. I will create a block. And I will call this block, guess what? Chair. So now this is one entity, one element that is a block. And also, just to show you repetition of tools that we have seen, why not to add other chairs all around my table, I can immediately use mirror in this way. I select this and I mirror this chair by using middle point of the table, and I mirror it here. Then I select these, I click mirror, and I mirror my chairs over there. Then I have to put other two chairs, so I will spend a little bit of extra time in. I will make a copy of this in the center. I will rotate it, and then I will move it into the right position. Last but not least, because I want to add my sixth chair, select this one. I use mirror, and I mirror this chair over here. So right now I have used block to turn those few lines into one object. And then I've used a few transformation tools in order to place all 6 chairs around the table. But this is when my teacher says, I don't like these round chairs. I would like sharper chairs with other shapes. And where is the problem? So the only thing that you will do will be you select one of your chair, just one, because they are all copies of same exact block. So you right click, you choose edit block in place. The block that you want to change is called chair, yes. And now I will simply modify this chair. So I will add, let's say with, in here, I will add this line. Then I will add this line, so that my teacher is happy because I'm not using the circle. And I trim these parts. Maybe, I don't know, I can use offset. Which distance? Let's say 1. And I can offset these. I mean, I can adjust the shape as I want. I will trim these parts that I don't like. I can go, I mean, as further as I want. Let's say I can add, like, you know, like the upholstery into my chair, pretending that there is a pillow. No? Stuff like this. And then, fantastic. I mean, I can make a masterpiece of a chair, and I can, let's say, copy all these circles. Phenomenal. And I mean, this is just over detailing, but just to show you that you can put a lot of effort, but only in one chair. And when you are done, so when you think you like the result, and especially when you think your teacher will like the result in this case, you go to Edit Reference. There is this menu that appears only after clicking Edit Block in Place. You click Save Changes. It asks you that if you are sure that you want to click over your adjustments, you click OK, and boom! All of your chairs are immediately updated to newer adjustments, to latest adjustments that you have made in your single block. Okay? Is that clear? Let me check the chat. Perfect. So, let me show you last thing for today. Thank you so much for your response. And let me show you last thing for today, so that then I will also explain what you have to do as a homework, and most important, what you will do next week. It would be, fantastic. So first of all, it is this. In interior design especially, most of symbols that you may need to use in your projects to add details maybe are some kind of standard symbols that someone else also has already drawn. And why you have to know this? For example, see this, that would be fantastic. If you go to a website, I'm showing you this directly on the internet, but if you go to a website that is called CAD A+, so if you really Google CAD A+, and you click this link here, that is CAD A+ blocks, you will go to this website. I'm showing you this particular website not because it's the best or whatever else, but because it is for free. It doesn't require any registration, so they don't want to know your informations, emails, nothing. But look here. If you, let's say, need to draw furniture in your drawing, so I go to the CAD block A+, CAD A+ block page, and I click here, I click furniture. Okay? Let me see. Yes. Then, look. All different kind of furnitures are divided by categories, and you can see categories here and there. So let's say, I don't know, I want to download, to make a bed in my project. So I can click beds. For now, we are only drawing in floor plan, so I click the category called beds floor in plan, and I will select the bed that I like the most, the one that fits my project, the design, the style, whatever. Let's say this one. When you click a block in here, you have to wait a couple of seconds, and then download button will be available. Okay? Till here? So then check this. You click download and you will download a AutoCAD file, so a DWG file in your download folder. So I click save, and if I check in my downloads folder, I will find that AutoCAD file that I have created. Okay? Till here? Let me see the chat. Till here? Okay. So what we have now is this. We can double click to open the file we have downloaded. It says whatever it says, okay, doesn't matter. But if we zoom in, look, look. Oh, there is that bad. I mean, it is super tiny. But what is more important is this. Look, if we select, we can discover that all of these elements are completely independent lines. So using this as a single bed in every technical drawing, it would be a disaster. So look what we do. That is this. We select all these lines. We click the option that is called Create a Block. And for sure, we call it bed, because this is a bed. Okay? Till here, nothing particularly complex, because what we have done is simply, instead of using our own shapes to make a block, we are using shapes that someone else has drawn in another file, but at least now this is not more just a bunch of lines, but this is one block that for us is our bed. But check this, because this is the connection between first and last tool that we have seen today, that is scale in combination with the block. Look, if I have downloaded this file, maybe I have also already done my floor plan. And, for example, see this. In here, I have my room that I haven't deleted, because now, look, in here, I want to place that bed. So this is a wall that is 2900. Perfect. So this is my room. Okay. So inside this room, that remember, and see why scale is so important. In this project, I am using millimeters. So this wall is 3000 millimeters long. This is 2900 millimeters long, but I'm using millimeters. Okay? So check this. I have my downloaded file. I have turned this into a block, but check this. To place this block in my floor plan, I have to do something very simple. That is, I have to, and here is not written, so I have to use a keyboard shortcut. That is, I have to make Ctrl C to copy. So if you have Windows, what I've done is I've selected the block and I have pressed Ctrl C. If you have a Mac, I don't know, probably you have to use Command C to copy, but then you go to your drawing and you have to paste it. So again, if you have Windows, I use Control V, and I think that if you have a Mac, you just use Command V. But check this. If I paste it, and I click to place it, I will have this very unlucky surprise. That is, if I have to zoom in, a lot to see the block. So why? Simply because dimensions of the block are probably not in millimeters. So, last thing that I will show you will be, I use dimension and I measure the bed. And it says that the bed is 1.97, but it is 1.97 millimeters. Because I'm using millimeters, my bed in reality must become 1970 millimeters long. What I have to do is I have simply to select the block, scale it, and let's see who will be first one who will correctly find which scaling factor I need to type if I want to turn this object that is 1.97 to the value that is 1970. So I select, I click scale, click a center, and now I have to type a value. 10 wrong. And Tanya, no. You, Alessandra, yes. It is 1000. That is to turn 1000 is exactly what you have to type. You can use copy in the modify panel because this particular copy, so first of all, let me type 1000. But now, if I zoom out, boom, I have my block perfectly scaled in millimeters. So for Tanya, the question is, you can use this copy because this works inside the same file and it duplicates elements inside a single file. So I can't select these, click this copy, and then move my mouse into another file. That doesn't work. To bring things from file to file, the only option is Ctrl C, Ctrl V to place elements from one file to another. Okay? So this is last thing for today, and before closing this video I have just one quick thing to show you, to tell you. That is, next week I would like to try by making the what should have been your midterm exam. And it will work basically in this way. That will be, you will turn on live stream. I will give you a link where you can download a simple PDF file, and if you can, you should be so nice to complete that drawing in the time of 2 hours, so like how the lesson should be. Because I know that some of you won't be able to watch the live stream while it is streaming, and also if you have problems and if you want to watch again the stream and so on and so on, the midterm exam must be delivered not mandatory in 2 hours, even if that is highly appreciated, but you will have 24 hours to make your midterm test. I trust in you, so you should also try to make the test by yourself, because the test is just to check the level of the class at this point, so you don't have to show up or making it beautiful, but making it real. That is more important. And I will leave also the next week the folder where you can upload your midterm exam for 24 hours. So you have 24 hours to finish the midterm and upload it to the folder. The midterm will be basically a floor plan with hatch, doors, windows, and at least you have to put one single or one or two blocks downloaded from CAD A+. Okay? Is that clear? Let me see the chat. Let's see who answered first. Perfect. Okay, so for this week, you have not a particular homework. What I suggest to do is, because making floor plans is easy, I will just suggest to open previous floor plans that you have already done and try to make a lot of practice by going to the CAD A+ website, download different blocks, and try to make practice by using block, scale, and copy paste, so that the more times you repeat these operations, the easier will be. Okay? Is that clear? Fantastic. So, who has questions? I have general question for homeworks. Uh, General questions by mail. It will be easier so that you have more times to write your questions and I have more time to write the answer. And if the answer deserves a video or stuff like this, I can also then make a small YouTube video and sorry, should dimension lines be on same walls at the example? In general, yes. This is easy. In general, yes. It is, I mean, it is how they should be done. Yes. This is straightforward question. Is yes. Then, other questions? Okay. It looks like there are no additional questions. So, uh, perfect. So have fun, and I have to close this live because then I have another live. There is a Revit. Apart mine. So, which is your question now? Immediately. You have 3 seconds to do it. Plus the delay of the webcam. No. So do this. I will answer this question while I will close this stream and I will open my Revit stream so that the question, if you can wait for, let's say, 10 minutes so that I will start my Revit class so that the answer to your question will be part of my Revit live stream. Okay? Is it clear? Okay, so for now, bye everyone, and I will be online in 10 minutes with my Revit class. For now.